a big thing to the people, and really want to point this out, a big thing to the people who are saying, like, oh, this is all happening because the government raised benefits. Literally, the government raises benefits by like a couple $100, and this is enough to absolutely destroy the private sector system. How fragile and pathetic is your capitalist system that you're defending if it can be destroyed with the smallest, most insignificant incremental raise in government assistance? That's how fragile and pathetic and useless this capitalist system is. That it can be washed away with very basic, simple, insignificant shifts in public spending. Like, it's an outright admission. I remember when I was growing up, the capitalists constantly said that, if you created a public option, we wouldn't be able to compete, and the government option would just take over. And they would say it as if this was a bad thing. And as I've gotten older, I've come to see, like, well, then do it. Create a public option, destroy these worthless capitalists who literally can't compete with superior models. And if you're telling me that you can't find workers because of a $200 increase to unemployment benefits, then capitalism is so weak it should cease existing. It should just cease existing, and we should be done with it. And we should stop paying attention to anyone who says and stands up that, the solution is actually to do more capitalism. It's childish. It's pathetic. We can do better. We know we can do better. So let's get to it already. Yep, October 15th, general strike. Here, yeah, straight up. I show this all over the place. I share this all over the place. October 15th, general strike. This has a real Occupy movement vibe about it, which is to say that it's not really that well organized, and it's just going to kind of be a mass movement, it looks like. But I think that there's value in that. I'm not against mass movements. I'm not against mass mobilization. It's usually union-type folk who critique that sort of stuff because union folk only see unions as the solution. And union strikes as being the way forward. National General Strike, October 15th, 2021. Support the working class. $20 minimum wage, 12 weeks paid maternity leave, healthcare, 4-day work week, environmental regulation, 25% corporate tax. I really hate this because it's asking for scraps. Like, it's asking for scraps. This is begging your masters for scraps. Like, stop begging for scraps. Like, literally, these documents, like, these lines should outright say, get rid of the capitalists. They are worthless. Take over their businesses. Chase them out. Arrest and incarcerate the parasites. Delete them from the society. Like, why are they part of the... Why are we even talking to these guys? Get rid of them. Get rid of them. The federal minimum wage of $7.25. I know, right? Like that. Like, I can't imagine believing that a minimum wage of $7.25. Like, it's indefensible. People who come into this channel and people who are still defending capitalism, they're deluded. They're like deluded on the same level as the flat earthers. It's like QAnon shit at this point. Like, it's like, it's so hyper irrational. It's so detached from reality to defend the idea that the federal minimum wage is $7.25. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's what a fucking joke. Hey Heidelman, how you doing, bud? Hey John, seriously, anytime a policymaker says minimum wage jobs for teenagers should be publicly humiliated. Yeah, like, you have to be delusional to say that. Like, have you never, ever, ever gone into a McDonald's? like literally walk into a McDonald's. But they don't, right? They send their assistant. If they're going to get McDonald's, they're going to send their assistant, right? They live in a bubble where they're surrounded by, like, they are a rich billionaire dumb cocksucker, right? That's surrounded by a layer of millionaires and billionaires that they enrich, so that these people can be their assistants and like media moguls, and then those people have yet another layer of assistants who are making like $100,000, right? So they're also very wealthy and detached. And then those assistants have another layer of assistants who are making like $50,000, right? And those are the people who are going to go to the McDonald's, right? And then they'll go get the McDonald's, they'll give it to their boss, who is the executive assistant, and then the executive assistant will give it to the like vice presidential assistant, and then the vice presidential assistant will give it to the guy, right? And so the guy who's saying, oh, it's just teenagers working in there, he's like 4 steps removed. He's never stepped foot in he probably couldn't find the McDonald's if you told him to go find it. He probably wouldn't even know how to start finding it. As long as Nancy Pelosi gets her ice cream and tens of millions in stock profits. Exactly, yeah. Great argument there. I assume you're talking about the fact that capitalism is weak and that it can be defeated with like the most meager... Like, why do you think they're fighting so hard? It's because they know they're weak. They know they're weak. Like, it's all bluster. It's all just bluster and pomp and arrogance. But the truth of the matter is that if we all collectively on one day, let's say October 5th, 2021, if everybody collectively just went out into the street and said, that's it, we're done, that's it. It's over. It's over. It literally is like a Bug's Life level of weakness that these guys have. It literally is all the ants get together and say no more to these grasshoppers, and the story ends. Credits roll, happily ever after. Because these capitalists are weak. They're incredibly weak. They don't actually have any power. Their power structure is entrenched deeply in the fact that they enslave us. And we are the ones that are actually making everything, that we are the ones that are actually building everything, that we are the ones that are actually doing everything, and they do absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, except collect all of that wealth for themselves so that they can shoot themselves into space on cock rockets, right? And while they're doing it, they'll turn around and acknowledge that that's the case. These guys are stupid and weak. And they don't deserve to have any of this power. They don't deserve to have any of this wealth. They don't deserve to have any of this stuff. And we could push them over so easily, but we're so fucking exhausted and gullible that we can't actually do it. Like, no teenager, those jobs pay less than minimum wage before tips. In Ontario, it's $12.55 an hour. Yeah, which I still am just like, what are you fucking talking about? $12.55? Like, when are we going to start treating each other like we're fucking adults? Like, when are we actually going to start treating each other like we're fucking adults? Right? Like, and honestly, so what if they're a fucking teenager? I don't get this. I don't understand this argument even a little tiny bit. So they're a fucking teenager. So what? Does that mean we get to abuse them? Does that mean we get to abandon them? Does that mean we get to deject them from the society? Does that mean we get to treat them like second-class citizens? Why? Because they're young and vulnerable? This is like the argument of a pedophile. This is like a pedophilic kind of argument that, oh, they're young and vulnerable and supple and they do what I say and that means that I can do what I want to them and nobody will say anything about it, right? Fuck you. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here with that. They're a teenager. I don't give a shit. Pay them the wage. Pay them the goddamn wage. I don't give a fuck if they're a teenager or not, because teenagers don't have fucking bills to pay. Because teenagers don't have any fucking problems. Teenagers don't have any difficulties going on in their lives, right? Teenagers aren't part of families that live in poverty and need as much money as they can possibly get to pay the bills as fucking rent skyrockets, as food and shelter skyrockets, as the billionaire class hoard as much as they possibly can for themselves while quaking and going like, we've got to hoard all this wealth because the system is collapsing because we're hoarding all this wealth. And they're so fucking stupid and moronic and sociopathic that they don't actually realize that all they have to do, right? All they have to do is, instead of having $100 billion, they have $1 billion, right? And oh no, your quality of life didn't change at all and things are completely normal for you. Unless you genuinely believe that it's rational that Jeff Bezos can shoot himself into space on a fucking rocket. Unless you're genuinely like, yeah, he earned it. Obviously he earned it. Yeah, Jeff Bezos for sure works 5,000 times harder than I do. Yeah, absolutely. CEOs, you gotta be real smart to be a CEO. Yeah, you gotta be real smart to be a CEO, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. CEOs are worthless. They do fucking nothing. They do fucking nothing. And they're paid so much to be this worthless that when they are confronted with actually needing to do work, they just pay people to do it, right? Obviously, that's what they do, right? Somebody like Jeff Bezos isn't super fucking smart. He just takes his money and pays other people to do the work for him while he like sits there and goes, yeah, it's gonna be great when I get shot into the fucking space atmosphere. That's gonna be super good. Yeah, it's gonna be super great. And people who come at me and like worship these fucking billionaires, like, what the fuck is wrong with your brain? There's something wrong with your brain if you are going to stand in front of me and defend this system and say that Jeff Bezos and all these guys deserve their money when they are fucking morons. And this is who we're just ceding power to. I can't imagine why the society's collapsing. I can't imagine why things are getting so bad. I can't imagine why the society is declining. Could it possibly be that we've given the bulk of the economic strength to these illiterate, incompetent, narcissistic sociopaths who are literally spending money on these grotesque, absurd vanity projects instead of, like, attempting to help anyone at all? Could that maybe be what's going on? No, he earned it, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for sure, he earned it. Yeah. It's fucking morons. Ugh. So yeah, general strike, October 15th. Shut this place down. Shut the whole fucking place down. Like, there's no reason to participate in this. There's no reason whatsoever at all to participate in any of this for even one moment. Stop participating. And I have a friend who, she was talking to me today about this, how she feels like, I feel like I want to do more. Like, I feel like I've got to do more. And I looked at her and I was just like, no, it's exactly the opposite. Do less. We need to do less, okay? The earth knows how to heal itself. The earth knows what to do to take care of itself. The problem is that we keep thinking we need to do more. No. The answer is do less. And significantly less. Faster. October 15th, I hope to see everybody out on the street doing fucking nothing. Because that would be thousands of times better than the society that we've built today. That this worthless piece of trash society and its dumbass, stupid economy needs to go into the waste bin of history, and in 10 years we need to look back and be like, yeah, remember when we were doing that fucking childish bullshit? Remember when we were all little babies listening to these psychopaths about how to run a society? Yeah, but I'm so glad that we're no longer these incompetent, cringy teenage morons. Give me money! If you've made it to this point, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Come to my live stream, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm the Canadian Commie. Thanks for tuning in.